So, Ian almost has this superpower. Maybe it's Anissa together, but they say great leaders inspire loyalty. It seems that everybody in his life, he's forced to be disloyal. He has like negative
Yes.
leadership. What do you call that? What is negative leadership?
Abuse.
Abuse? Okay.
Yes.
I'm fucking
So you
tired.
think it's so I guess quantify that. Did you
Well,
feel
the
like
reason,
abuse? Yeah, go ahead.
yes, the reason why I say it's abusive is because, like for example, the bonus, right? They mentioned it to me, Michael, that they're gonna give a bonus after CC1, and then after the event was so great, they just went rogue on us. It's interesting because we invite them to our house for Thanksgiving. We're so nice to them. We open up our lives to them. They've met my kids, like our kids, and everything. But then once the work is done and they don't need us, they kind of just put us at bay and they make it uncomfortable for us to reach out to them. Or if we reach out to them, they don't respond. So treating us like we're not really
Seems
in
like
their
he
inner
did that a
circle,
lot
which
too.
makes no sense because we worked with them for CC1, CC2. Michael and I have traveled with them to LA, Vegas, Florida. Keep in mind that when we were in Florida with them, we were with them for 2 to 3 weeks at a period of time. That's a long time to be with someone. You learn so much about the person. And then you start to realize, wow, everything that, I mean, I don't want to say, their enemy's name. What's his name? Sam.
No way.
Right, but when we saw
Sam.
that video,
No,
I was
he's
like, oh
right.
my
You
God.
could say it.
I don't
I
want to
was
say
like,
his
I was
name.
The
what
one
was
where
funny
he's like,
about that?
well, hold on. So there's a video
Like
of
he's
Sam
the
Hyde,
fucking
and he
boogeyman.
goes,
I don't want to say his name. That's crazy. They were that conditioned by Anissa and Ian.
she's gonna ruin his life. Mark my words. I guarantee it. Is that the one
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yes, Anissa was the one that showed it to us because we didn't know nothing.
What was funny
I
too
guess we'll pull up the
is that
Sam clip. That's a good clip. I mean, I've been a big fan of Sam for years, like even before he blew up, which is really funny. People forget that Ian basically revived the corpse of Sam Hyde's career. He really did. Before Ian did that documentary on him, Sam's career was pretty much completely in the gutter. Well, not completely. Like he was still like clips of him were still going around, but Ian really like helped bring his channel back to relevance. Um, Sam was stuck making most of his content on like Gumroad and stuff, and like his hardcore fans, like people like me who used to like watch him back in the day, like we were still there around for him, but he didn't have the notoriety he does now. And the whole stuff with Ian, when I remember when Sam uploaded like Idubbbz made a documentary on me, and that pressured Ian to release his doc on Sam. That's really the catalyst for the Sam Hyde we got now. That's the catalyst for Sam making Fish Tank, for Sam getting Million Dollar Extreme World Peace 2 to get another season, and now making Extreme Peace, which is like the new running title for World Peace 2 Season 2. Or whatever you want it. There's just so many layers to it. Sam Hyde's comments on Anissa and Ian Joma. I find it fucking
Stoner,
crazy. I still can't believe he took his wife's last name.
with the 15 says, Sam, get Jed a raise for the consistently pleasant streams. Also, in Anissa's own words, Sam, you are a scorpion, and Ian is a fraud. Some kind of Muslim story fable. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
She's not very Muslim, too. I mean, if someone was actually a devout Muslim, they wouldn't be parading themselves naked online, but what the fuck do I know?
I think it's the opposite, my fellow.
He's the scorpion?
He's a fucking snake.
Oh, there we go. And what are you?
What do you think about that?
I mean, he's
I
right.
think he's a fucking snake.
Look at the way everyone reacts about him.
There's a certain... I think he's, he might be too foolish to be evil.
He's got an ego.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's a fucking like mastermind.
Where's the fucking
And he
clip they're
definitely- he
referencing?
definitely
It's
viewed-
not in this. Is it the one on the bottom? Oh, they were looking at our OnlyFans. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was just thinking about that on the way to work because I saw.
Yeah.
I made a
that
video
too.
back in the day reviewing
And,
Anissa's OnlyFans, and like I was going through like fucking with her too. Like we got an account. It was actually me and Tay, the girl I brought up earlier, the girl who makes car content. I unlisted the video, not because like It wasn't like anything really wrong with the video itself. It wasn't like bad or anything. But I don't really want to promote like sex work content on my channel. And like my whole thing is when you acknowledge something, because it got like 70,000 views. It was a pretty big video. Acknowledging something like that is just giving it good publicity. And it's just absolute degeneracy. So it's like giving that industry I don't like added eyes and attention. So I took it down because like I had like moral epiphanies when it comes to religion as of late. Like it was within the past few years I had started having these thoughts, so that's part of the reason I just took the video down.
Well, so what's crazy to me is like, so for example, when Ian did your show for Creator Clash 2, he would never say my name. He would always just go Ian's coach or my coach. And then AB was the one that actually had to say my name. AB was like, oh, you mean Michael? And then I was like, thank you, AB. Appreciate you. But so, and then same thing when he did the other podcast, he said, oh, my coach is he's really tough. He has toxic masculine qualities.
Wait, when did he say that?
He said that when he was talking to
what a fucking pussy.
Smosh guy.
Yeah.
So he did that.
You know what? He's lost his mind. I'm sorry, but if anybody deserves to have toxic masculine traits, it's your boxing coach, okay? Get in line, bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
That's who you want teaching you how to fight.
Tyson's coach, this like grumpy, insane old man. Like, this is who you want to fucking coach you, dude. What are you talking about?
I didn't see the podcast you're talking about, but yeah, I know when I was training with Michael, I felt so loving compared to when I was fighting with Wally.
It sounds like
Wally
Wally
used to tell me you could punch me in my sleep and I won't blink. Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I actually had to learn how to talk to Ian from training because during one of the sessions when
boxing coach had to handle him with kids' gloves.
Alex Stearns one day.
Oh, I want to ask you about that.
Oh, yeah, it was hilarious. It was funny to me because we weren't supposed to spar that day. Actually, it was the morning that he released the Sam Hyde documentary.
Yeah.
So I had no idea he had so much going on because I didn't even know what the documentary was.
We didn't know who anybody was.
Anybody. I just want to control. I want to focus on the fight, right? So he releases the documentary, but we're in LA. We're visiting gyms.
That's when he started with the whole Creator Clash shit.
Yeah, that was for that. But we wanted to watch Alex Stearns train. So we go to Alex Stearns' gym, and the coach of the head guy of the gym, the owner, says that he doesn't believe women should fight. So Anisa gets really upset and decides she wants to. The owner of the gym said that.
The owner of Alex.
So Anisa got so offended that she said.
Anisa got so offended she didn't fight herself. That will show him.
Out today, and we're like. And then and I'm like,
man, to get slaughtered by Alex Ernst, who's like some kind of like boxing savant or something. He fucking annihilated him, dude.
Yeah.
So what happened was, it was funny because Alex has really thick glasses. So he took his glasses off and he can't see anything. So he just starts swinging haymakers.
Oh, he couldn't even see.
Oh no, but Ian like froze.
Oh wait, and also before the filming, so before they did the sparring, Anisa and Ian runs up to me and they're like, Kate, make sure you film this because we want to put on our YouTube channel in the documentary, how does 3 week of training look like and 3 months of training look like? Because Ian at that time had been training for 3 months with us.
Probably looked identical.
And Alex 3 weeks. He had just started.
Yeah. Well, and the thing was, skill-wise, Ian was much better. Ian wasn't just used to somebody throwing haymakers. And so Alex comes out and just starts hitting him with haymakers. And the first 2 rounds, I was talking to him very softly. I was like, Ian, are you okay? Can you throw punches? If you can't throw punches, I'm going to scrap this sparring because you're not throwing any punches. And then he's like, no, I'm fine. And then 2 rounds later, then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And then he went on the Smosh show and he was like, yeah, it's bad enough when you get beat up and your coach is yelling at you too.
Shut up, dude.
I swear.
That's coaching. That's all of coaching.
Corner. That's how the corner's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes.
Throw a punch, man. Oh, here, I have the reference here. Let's watch it.
Alex is a freak of nature, I gotta say.
I remember watching that, and everyone was like, what was that? Because it seemed, everybody could tell he got pretty rattled by that fight.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say, and I'm going to, did you say he cried?
Oh, we had to have a meeting.
So after that, he was crying at the gym. afterwards, and I said, and once again, I hate to hate on him for that because it's very emotional.
Yeah,
when
for
you
sure.
So,
for sure.
in some hard
are they
sparring,
talking
right?
about Alex
So
Wasabi
but
right
then
now?
what happened afterwards was horrible because then we went back to the hotel and then they were eating at Denny's and they said we need to have a meeting. So I have to go to Denny's. And they pretty much then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid. And so
That's so fucking gay. I saw this on Twitter today, and I tweeted out, "This is the gayest thing I've heard all month, and it's Pride Month." Anyways,
I had to relearn how to talk to him. And at the time, I didn't even mind because I'm like, as a coach, I need to learn how to talk to different fighters anyways. Like, communication is the most important thing. One of the most important things as a coach. So
Yeah.
I was trying to turn it into a
get a
positive,
comms
but
degree.
It definitely was.
But
We
you-
almost got fired at Denny's.
Yeah, exactly. After
At a
that
Denny's.
session. But
I
not
almost
only
farted
that,
at Denny's.
Yeah, Michael and I rewatched the sparring, right, with him and Alex Ernst, and you could clearly hear that Anisa was screaming louder than Michael.
Yeah, so he was literally yelling at him worse than I was. But I
Probably
was like,
his
but
daily
apparently
life
I was
right
the
there.
one that- I yelled at him and he froze.
It triggered him, and he thought.
Imagine what she does behind the
We'd have
scenes
to
to
deal
him.
with
That's
things
the
like
scary
that all
thing.
the time where it was like he wasn't even supposed to spar that day. Like I'm like, what the hell is
He didn't
going
have a
on?
mouthpiece.
He didn't. Yeah.
He didn't
so-
have a mouthpiece.
He didn't have a
Michael brought all the
mouthpiece.
to the gym and put it in the microwave. It didn't even fit. It was
So,
ridiculous.
When you plan to spar like that, you want to prep. You don't want to just go into it.
You want to be like ask AB. You want to be mentally prepared for a sparring day.
Okay, because it's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, my first sparring day, like it was so fucking bad. Like when I left and I came back, Wally started jumping all around the gym. He's like, I never thought I'd see you again. He goes, okay, the fact that you came back, he's like, now I'm in.
Holy shit!
But
And
yeah,
by-
it was scary. I was supposed to spar Alex Ernst actually, because me and Alex would
Thank God.
talk
Oh
all the
my God,
time,
bro.
and I heard about this encounter, and I told
the fuck
Alex
is
after, I'm
Alex
like,
Ernst?
Fuck that. I'm good.
Alex had a really good coach. Alex actually found a coach that like coached world champion boxers. I have no idea how he found the guy. The guy showed up the day of the event, like a couple hours before the event, and then he left right after the event. So he didn't stay for anything. Alex's coach, but he was a really good coach.
So he wasn't prepared to spar, and then
No.
Anisa put him up to it because she heard the owner of the gym is
Told her correctly.
the owner of the gym who's not related to the fight really. He wasn't
At all.
there. He didn't care. It was just some comment. So she had to prove something to
By
the
getting
owner
her
to
husband
have him
beaten
beat
up.
Alex, who doesn't have anything to do with him. They have a weird thing. They do this where they go, "Oh, really? If you think I'm an asshole, then you should hear about this. What this gym,
They do
what
that a
this
lot.
kid did, totally unrelated to me at this shooting range. You should hear what the owner of this building said. Who? It's like, what are you talking about? What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, it's like another Rice Cup
Dope.
situation where someone's beefing and Anissa's like, Ian, you better go throw a fight now and beat him up and be a boxer.
Yeah, that was actually how the whole situation
He
started.
wanted to
because,
fight Ricegum. I forgot
Ricegum
about
had
that.
texted Anisa, and
Yeah.
he said, "Tell your husband to fight me, or tell your man to fight me, or something like that." And that's how they ended up hiring me because I was supposed to train him to fight Ricegum. So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna have two totally inexperienced."
That would have been
people
so much better.
fight, and on some event, I had no idea what was going on.
Right. This is a lot.
It is a lot.
The sparring thing is next level because sparring at our level, people don't spar in their first year of boxing necessarily,
Right.
and it is really mentally and physically.
I've never really
taxing,
heard
and
that.
If someone did boxing for 2 months and then sparred and then quit,
I mean, I've heard people say like you shouldn't spar within the first couple months, but the only way you get better in any combat sport is drilling it and sparring it. And sparring's the best way to get better at anything. I mean, you get your ass beat a lot. Like, I'll admit it, I'm not Superman. Every time I spar, I kind of, well, not every time I spar. There's like, see, for me, when I spar, there's a kind of way I look at it. So most of the times when I spar people around my level, but whenever I spar someone who's a fighter at my gym, it's just like I can't compete with them. I can't hang with them. Anyone who has like way more experience than me, it's like it's like, what do you expect? Like, they've trained all their lives. But I don't let it frustrate me or anything because it's like, you know, I know I'm getting something out of it and I'm getting better, but it's not fun being a punching bag for someone. Ideally, if you're sparring, I think you should look at it this way. You should do like a Goldilocks method. Like if you spar someone who is, I'm just reading chat right now. What the fuck was he loves BBWs about? If you spar, right? Say you spar someone who's a lot better than you and you get dominated. The next time you spar, you should spar someone a little bit worse than you. Just because, like, so you can get the flow. Don't beat up on the person, but it gives you confidence. And then you spar someone around your level, or like you go down, like in like rankings of fighting people. Like you spar someone a little bit worse than you, give them the experience, help them work, and then you spar someone on your level, and then you spar someone above your level to humble you. And it really does help. I mean, I feel like I get my best work in sparring people around my level, but it's also like it's a nice feeling to be sparring with someone and then be teaching them things too.
Understand that, and there's no way my coach would have ever, like, anyone could have been like, oh yeah, he's gonna go do this or that if I wasn't mentally prepared for it. So the pressure aspect is really interesting because I don't understand.
I wonder what the
ultimately, what was
humidity
point
is
of
right
that?
now.
It's
I am
just
dying.
gonna set things back, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
why, like, I would
64
always
degrees
try to
out
have Ian
with
very controlled
an
sparring
80%
until,
humidity.
like towards kind of more towards the last 8-10 weeks of camp, and then we would really pick it up. For the second fight, he sparred hard. He was literally stopping people in sparring.
Yeah.
Even for the first fight, he actually had stopped Nathan Barnett with a body shot. He stopped
Ian did?
with a body
No
shot.
way.
So he was actually in sparring. Like,
That's
once
crazy.
He got a little bit better. He was doing pretty damn well. But I agree, like, you shouldn't be putting people in early until they actually know not only how to throw punches and defend themselves, but also
Why couldn't you fucking finish anyone in a fight?
Because a lot of times they might know how to throw punches or even defend, but then they
Well, I know
get
why.
freeze, or
He's
they
fighting
just
people
don't-
way better than him. Way more
Oh.
athletic. I'm
So
surprised
you
he
were
got
trying to
dad
dissuade-
good,
did
though.
you try to dissuade him, like, dude, you're not ready? This is a
I was
bad
like,
idea.
we don't have a mouthpiece, we don't have headgear, we don't have the right gloves.
Yeah.
I was totally trying to dissuade. I was like,
It was hard.
we're not
Yeah.
ready for
You
this.
should listen to your
Hard
coach, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's hard because, like, Ian, you could tell in his eyes, he could not say no to Anisa.
Yeah.
So what is he gonna do? He's
Pussy
gonna
whip.
just suck it up, go get that $20 mouthpiece right
Pussy
there, put it on the
whip-itis.
microwave, and put it in his mouth. That's what he did.
Yeah. But and then that was
That
such
sounds a
tragic-
lot like the sexual stuff he enjoys. I made that. I don't know why.
There's got to be insight in
I
there.
apologize,
I feel like
guys.
someone
There
knows
was a
something they do
moment
in the
where I
bedroom
put
that's
something in
fucking
my mouth,
completely
and I thought,
freaky.
well, that's probably because of cuck thing. I just tried. I apologize for that, everybody.
Once again, like I mean, I always want the best for Ian, so I was always just a lot of these things were just very disappointing, especially when he came out and said he was never going to release a documentary. I was just like, what are you talking about?
That was hurtful.
We have hours of footage, and I could see why they didn't want to make a documentary on the second one, because they didn't want to show how Anisa helped promote this whole event, and
It failed.
$1,000.
Yeah.
So that made sense.
No, I've heard Anisa talk a lot on the show and other places, and Ian was backing her up. She's like, she has amazing footwork. Like, she is like some natural gifted type of boxer.
I need to hear
And
this
I
from the
forget
boxing
why
coach.
They said she couldn't fight, but they're like, but she unfortunately she can't fight. But if she could, she would. She's like amazing. And so I was just kind of curious because you were training her. Is she is she this natural gifted boxing savant?
So she did have some athleticism for a girl.
He adds for a girl.
Was when she would come forward really hard.
She'd get rocked.
When she would come forward really hard.
Well, do you want to clarify that? You can.
Okay, when she would
Yeah,
come
so,
forward really hard, what happened?
Like a lot of women are just less athletic when it comes to boxing.
Start right. It's about throwing punches. It's about because men have more upper body strength. Women have more lower body strength in general, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's plenty of women that that play basketball that will kill me in basketball, right? But fighting is a separate thing. Fighting is its own entity, and so
it really
I don't
is.
even almost consider fighting a sport, really, right? Compared to other things. And so when you have some athleticism for a girl, and like because she had played sports, that's more what I meant. Was she had played sports as a girl, so with some athleticism. Ian had never played a sport a day in his life. Ian had zero athleticism, right? So training her was easier than training Ian because she had more athleticism. But what happened on her first sparring session, I would always tell her, you can't just come forward. You can't just come forward. And so she had a sparring session, and she was just trying to walk forward, and then a girl punched her. And then I was actually watching Ian, so I wasn't even watching. I just heard a big pop. And then I looked over, and she was kind of frozen. And then she said she had a concussion. Then the next day, she went and told the doctor that she had a headache and sensitivity to light and pretty much all the concussion symptoms.
The whole entire list, like, it went on forever.
And then so we were like, oh no, she has a concussion. And then Ian's like, well, she's kind of a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay.
Ian actually reassured
No
me.
way.
I was worried at that
She's
time.
not gonna like hearing that.
Yeah, I would try to.
He stood up for himself. He fucking he contradicted her. That's crazy.
I tried to check on her, and he reassured me. He's like, hey, don't worry about her. She's actually a hypochondria, and she does this often where she self-diagnoses herself and freaks out.
She's not gonna
So
like that.
that's like, don't worry about it. She'll be fine. And I was like, okay, then why is she continuously talking about it on all her media outlets?
The thing that drove me crazy
Is that why
was
she said she couldn't box because she had a like? What, do you remember what it was?
She was an athlete in high school, and she had previous concussions, if I remember correctly, or
Okay.
something where the doctor told her it was too big of a risk.
Well, definitely don't box then.
Dumbass.
Also, the doctor's gonna tell you what you tell them. If I come in,
Right.
Yeah.
consider you light and have headaches.
No, that's
they're gonna say you have a concussion.
that is absolutely right.
And then
When I was a kid, I said I had a concussion during football. I got like my head sat on, so I have no idea how I'd get concussed from this. But my head hurt after it. So like they took me to the doctor and checked me out. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like I think I have a concussion. But looking at the symptoms for a concussion, I had none of the symptoms of a concussion. So I got diagnosed with a concussion I never had. But they're also very protective about that stuff. I mean, reasonably so. CTE is like a serious thing. Like, you don't want to end up with CTE like later down the road. Especially when you're a child, they're going to be overly sensitive about that. But like, Anisa's clearly self-diagnosing. She was either looking for a way out or she just exaggerating to exaggerate.
The part of the story that drove me crazy was how all of a sudden she went from saying she had this concussion to she's had all these concussions while she was training. And then by the time she was on like your guys' show and these other shows, she's like, I've had 11 minors and 2 majors. And I'm like,
Anisa's pimping out minors.
And nobody's like, that was a minor. That was a major. You know? And so I was like, well, if you had 2 majors, that would mean you were like completely unconscious. And she said she got them from like lacrosse and hockey. So I'm like, you're telling me that you got knocked out completely unconscious on the field.
I've never seen someone get knocked out in football.
Put her back on the field. I'm like, that makes 0 sense to me.
She's a liar. I mean, she does
100%.
lie. She lies about everything. It seems like.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't. And also like literally 2 majors. If she said she has 11 minors and 2 majors.
13 concussions.
2 majors
You're
would mean,
legally
like, you were
retarded.
Completely unconscious. And
That's a lot of head trauma. You know what's ironic? Ian acts like that's what happened to him. You know, but Anisa, she seems more in control than ever.
Oh yeah.
She's got the leash.
Yeah, it's odd, and that's why like I felt so bad because you could see. So the 2 of the best weeks, or one of the best weeks we had in training,
it's when Anisa wasn't around.
Visit her family in Canada. And then that was when Ian invited his sparring partners to the gala. I wasn't a part of that, but he went out and did like
they took him out to hot and cold plunge.
Yeah, one of the guys that runs the gym. So first of all, the gym that we're out of is this guy Luca Hosever's gym, and it's called Vigor Ground Athletics. And he was the one that did their programming in the beginning. And when they went on some show and they were like, Ian, how did you gain all this weight? She was like, oh, I studied kinesiology.
That's
and I'm like,
crazy.
Wait. I'm like, how did you studying kinesiology get him to gain weight? Like that makes no sense. Because in reality, it was Luca that was writing their programming for him, but they never wanted to give him a shout out. And that's when we realized they don't want to give anybody a shout out. Like they would never give me a shout out. They would never give Luca a shout out. Randomly enough, I guess occasionally they would give Mike Leonardi one. But otherwise,
he's the manager and he had a bigger following. Unless you have a big following, she's not gonna give you a shout out. She'll just suck the blood out of you and go away.
Yeah.
So you think Anisa's the one?
Succubus.
Oh, 100%.
I do, but it is also Ian that allows it to happen.
He enjoys it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
Feel sorry for Ian.
What is
Yes.
happening with them?
Yes, he enjoys it. We used to
He
feel sorry
enjoys
for him.
it. It's a
I did.
fetish
Yeah,
thing.
both did. We both did. Michael felt sorry for him up until CC2. After CC1, I cut that shit off because I was like, you know what?
At one
She's a
point, they
fucking
start
liar,
talking
and
about
he's a
like
liar,
Ian
and
having
she enjoys all the
horrible
punishment that
bo
she
and like
gives him.
hygiene
So
habits, and
let
I'm
it
just
be.
waiting
She
for
said that
that.
after she did that first interview. And I'm always like, I always want the best for my clients. So I'm like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
Things are going to work out. They're going to give me a shout out. He's going to make this documentary, like all these. And she's like, they're never going to give you the credit, you know? And I was always
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh, well, and in my mind, I'm like, no, like I love Ian. I trust Ian. I feel like Ian's got like my best interest at heart too. But then he didn't. The time that I actually was finally fully fed up was when I had to ask them about the gala and we were already in Florida. And I'm like, this is the last straw. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even, she's like, you guys don't have to be there. Like, she was practically telling us she didn't want us there.
Disrespectful.
Crazy.
Respectful.
For no
So,
reason.
Yeah, and the reason why I also want to say the reason why like Michael and I we were waiting for them to tell us about the gala, but they never did. So they waited so long. We got to Florida. We were 2 weeks away from the event, and they still haven't said anything to us. And at this time, all of Ian's sparring partners, there was probably like 4 or 5 of them that flew out, or I think 6 of them total, flew out from Washington, paid for their own flights, their own hotel, and they're all coming there to support Ian. And they all have been helping Ian throughout his fight camp, right? And so they're asking us about the gala. We don't know about it. So we were afraid that if all his teammates showed up, they might not be able to get into the gala. How embarrassing would that be
That's
if
fucked
his
up.
teammates are not able to get into the gala because she doesn't want them to be a part of it?
Also-
So that's why we asked her directly, and that's when she told us about
Yeah,
the
he-
500K. That's when she told us
Oh
about
my
why would
God.
we want to be there.
Yeah.
It made no sense.
Also, all of his sparring partners paid for themselves to be there.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Ethan, but
like, they would give them
this
tickets
is
to the event.
some
If they
interesting
didn't help
shit, I
anybody
guess.
else
Some
get there, that
interesting
was a part
insight
of his
at
team,
least.
other than Kate and I. So
Yeah.
otherwise, like none of the like, if you're throwing the event and you have all these sparring partners and training partners, I would think you would invite them before like 300 creators that don't mean anything to you.
100%. Yeah,
No,
you
you-
gotta think about the time that when they're
300
sparring,
creators.
all of his teammates that volunteer their time, they're sparring for free. They're taking time from their work, their family to come and contribute. They don't
That's
do
a
this
lot of
because,
time
they're
and
obsessed with Ian.
investment.
They do this because they have loyalty to me and Michael and how we have helped them, and that's why they show up to spar with Ian. And all he does is look the other way when Anisa says and invite them. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's disgusting. I can't. All we have to show is our hard work, and there's no way that I'm going to let Ian and Anisa take that away from us.
Mm. That's crazy. What do you make of
did you
the?
guys know?
Yeah, no,
Did you guys?
it's like a constant humiliation ritual at this point. I don't know how he can take it, to be quite honest. Like, first off, I don't think I'd ever let myself get into a situation like that. But if I had the amount of humiliation that man did, where people online know I shit myself, where people online keep calling me a cuck because my girlfriend's not girlfriend, my wife who controls me is a disgusting whore who records pornos of herself opening up her butthole on the internet, I think I would throw myself off a bridge. But that's just me personally.
Hear anything or know about how they chose the performers for the gala? The people that they put. There was a couple performers.
Have you seen
there
his
that,
post boxing?
I was just
Oh
curious.
yeah, where he cries. I love this. Hold on. I remember watching this. I was in my kitchen. It was after work. I was eating. And I'm just sitting there, and I just remember, I think I was eating chicken or something. I had the chicken in hand, and I remember just laughing, and I dropped the chicken on the plate watching this. I know I'm not everyone's favorite person or their cup of tea. Him crying, too. That's like
What would
adding
you like to
insult to
say
injury
to
to
all
the
your fans
coaching.
and supporters
And then
that
Anisa
are
comes
rooting for
over
you
and
today?
touches his head. I only saw it the first time the other day. I saw this live, dude. I pirated the event. He probably shit himself a little bit too during that. I had to turn it off. It was so cringe. Well, you know what's the worst part of Creator Clash? And I hated this in the first one too, even when I thought the event was like cool. Like with Creator Clash 1, like watching that, because that was a fun event. I think a lot of people sat down for the first time and watched that. I hated all the fansly like shit around the ring. And I hated how openly they embraced that. But of course they did, because like they love sex workers. The little voice crack is fucking hilarious. It's like a toddler. It's probably what his dad heard when he was
really
beating him.
Everyone. I know I'm not everyone's
Cup of tea.
But I really do appreciate the support. And,
I wonder what the post-fight speech would have been for Greater Clash 3. Once he got his ass whooped for a third time, like how many tears would have came out.
Thank you for coming.
Based?
Decide on who they were or what the
Are you
connection
talking about like
was.
the comedians or who you talking?
Comedian and singer.
Yeah, I mean,
There's
it's like a
that was
smaller
originally
thing,
paid
but like
$20,000
I noticed it
or
all
something.
over the place in the branding.
So for the first event,
It literally,
we were a part of-
Creator Clash 2, I don't mean like 2 as in the event, but like 2, it literally was like a mini advertisement for like sex work.
of those decisions. But for the second event, like I said, they kept us in the dark about the gala. Really, like it was my main responsibility to help with Ian's training, but also make sure like everybody else had legit coaches and help like. Because for the first event, I helped train a lot of the people. I probably helped train like 80-90% of the people. That fought on
like
the
Eric
first
came
event.
to Washington for 2 weeks to train with you. Remember?
That was another thing that actually upset me was like comment etiquette Eric. Like
Yeah.
I love that guy, but he only was able to train for the last 17 days of the fight. Because
Why would they
he was
even
really
set up a
supposed to fight
fight for
Chad,
him
I
at that
believe,
point?
But then when Chad backed
17
out,
days isn't enough to
they
do
were like,
anything.
oh, we need to find somebody, and so they found DJ Welch, and
That
I
guy's
had
a
thought,
beast.
they told us he was out of shape and
That
had
guy's
no
a monster. By
And
the
then
way,
they
super
fed
nice guy.
him.
That guy's
Huge
great. Both
arms.
of those guys are
Huge
amazing
pipes.
dudes. Yeah.
He was great, but
He's a
imagine
beast.
somebody telling you this guy has no experience. That's why Eric and him had headgear on, and that was another thing I got blamed for. They're like,
I
"Look
think
at
I
how
just
fast
watched
this
Harley's
coach is.
fight.
Look at
Harley's
that."
fights
I'm
were
like, "Dude,
interesting.
had
I liked both of
17
them.
days,
I remember
and me and
rooting for
Eric
him
just,
so
like,
hard
making
in the
fun
first fight.
because the whole time he was like, DJ's out of shape. DJ, we're just gonna have fun.
And-
Man, DJ came out and whooped his ass. I was
Dude,
like,
he's,
what the hell?
he's jacked. He's like actually
He's
jacked.
huge
I was
arms,
like,
bro.
this is not fair at all.
And DJ fought formerly. Well, he's been training MMA for a very long time. Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
he's
like,
a
oh,
fighter too.
Harley's not saying
Yeah,
much
yeah,
on this
they don't
either,
have
though.
to
So what was that?
He's
really
just
about?
kind of
They
there
lied to you guys on
existing.
purpose?
He says something like
I
maybe
don't
every
know.
5
They were
minutes.
like, well, they didn't even tell us really any of that stuff because a lot of it they like tried to find on their own when it was last minute stuff. So, for example, like when Matt fought Dad, like they almost canceled that like 20 times because Matt was never training for the event.
That
so
was
they
crazy
said-
too, but I mean, it's like
That's crazy.
you
I would've
could
never
clearly
known
tell
much of
that.
it.
Like
What happened too?
watching Dad versus Matt Watson was quite the experience. I don't even think Dad was that good at fighting. I think Matt Watson's just Matt Watson. It's so like physically unathletic that like that was bound to happen.
I almost don't blame Matt, except like Ryan found a good coach or a coach, right? So I don't know why Matt couldn't have. But Matt's coach,
Yeah, Harley's.
they just want to do all this.
You'll
pad
see
work,
him
just,
like
random pad
randomly
work,
popping
and then
up.
they would say, but
He has like a
don't
little
run road work,
Keemstar
don't run it
background.
off.
I
And
don't
then
know
when they
where
found
he is
out
in
that
here,
it was
but
a
oh,
real
there he
event
is.
and there was gonna be 10,000 people there.
What?
They disappeared.
Where did they disappeared?
Disappeared on him. Just
What?
straight disappeared on him. Like they
Was
were
that-
taking all of his money until they found out it was a real event. I think a lot of people were shocked.
They really did have something good with the
Because,
first
like,
Creator
we
Clash,
were
and then
going
they
to
fucking
places,
just
like, with no
completely
clue of what
ruined
we
the
were gonna
brand
have
rep.
happen. So we're like, hey, this is what's so crazy is like he could have told the story. He would have been proud of it. Like the story was amazing. We're going to.
I kind of do wish though an event similar to it because it's a pretty good idea. Like, I don't know. I hope an event like it where like I want more like YouTubers who aren't like super brand friendly fighting. I think that would be a fun thing. Like not like the DAZN YouTuber like influencer fights. Those are like cool, I guess. Like the Wings fight, that was cool. Wings versus Boogie, but we need like a fun event. Just trying to stay out of the controversy, I guess. Yeah. I don't think he is. He's just there. He was talking about it. He just doesn't have much to add. But then again, I feel like Coach Mike has way more to say on this because who has heard what he's had to say so far? I mean, he's been pretty quiet about everything.
And we're like, hey, we want to throw a YouTube boxing event. They're like, where? We're like, we don't know. They're like, when? We're like, we don't know, but we're gonna do it. And they were like, get out of here. You know, it was like, it made no sense. And so I was almost like, hey guys, maybe we should let me talk to some of these people before, because like they would just have these awkward ass conversations in all these boxing gyms. And so a lot of the people that ended up getting hired, like I don't know if Lucky even thought it was a real event when he was training AB, or they didn't know how big it was going to be. You know?
Right. Well, AB knows.
So
I don't know.
My gym, like
I think they did something similar on Fish Tank. The thing about Fish Tank is they kind of overdid their welcome, in my opinion, with it. I'm not super excited for season 4. I think part of it is my issues with Jet Neptune, because him and I mutually don't like each other. But like, I really liked season 1. I'm friends with John. You know, John's a friend of the show and like someone who I've worked with. And funny enough, I don't know if you know about this, but John had his own show, and it was supposed to be streamed on Fish Tank Live. It was called American Dude Lodge. And I am friends with a couple people who participated in the show. And I was supposed to be on it, but, well, not that I was supposed to be on it. They wanted me on the show. And they were begging me to go on, right? Yeah, Fish Tank is, I don't know. You have to be unemployed to keep up with something like that. And like, yeah, no, I get it as an MDE fan. So, they wanted me to go on this show that John was running called American Dude Lodge. And it ended in like one of the worst ways possible. And it was like a complete brand PR nightmare for everyone involved. They had like people like, I think they made them like say racial slurs and shit like that, like into a camera. But it was just like worse Fish Tank. And then it ended with a guy hitting his girlfriend on stream. So I'm kind of glad I was never a part of it. It was an unmitigated disaster. But there is one person I've met from that show. His name is Big K Hernandez, or Kevin. And he's another YouTuber, and he used to work with Max and Chad from Cold Ones and this other show, or this other YouTube channel, The Boys. And him and I talk in groups. Like, I met him through one of my friends who was on the production of the show. Yeah, that's literally it. It's going to ruin, like, the ability to get employed. And then no one got any money out of the show because they were supposed to get paid, and the person who had access to the little cryptocurrency system that they were going to use to pay the contestants, like, ran off with the money. It was a complete disaster. And then they put the Airbnb in my, like, unemployed friend's name for the house. It was just a shit show. It really was. I'm just happy I didn't get involved with it, but I have met some cool people from it. Like, I met Kevin, and Kevin's cool, and I talk to him like a couple times a week, and I'm probably going to end up working with him in the future, because we're like about the same size on YouTube.
Wild card, they don't fuck around. Like, supposedly they even kicked Jake Paul out before. Like, they're very serious about boxing. I don't think they care like how big the
nice
event
voice
was.
crack, AB.
Yeah, I think even Ian like added Wale on Instagram, and I don't think Wale followed him back. Like,
yeah, the house wasn't that badly trashed, but it smelled like piss and shit when they were done with it, from what I heard in BO. And then they weren't allowed to leave the house. It was like a Fish Tank gimmick.
It's alleged by Anisa herself that Ian has both bad breath.
Oh, this is the best part.
In his pants frequently. Do you have any data on that?
Imagine your wife publicly telling everyone you have bad breath. That just goes to show, like, they don't kiss or anything. That's fucking gross. Ian's a gross person. I mean, he doesn't look like he would take his hygiene well. I mean, remember that gross mullet he had for a period? He just looks greasy, and Anisa also looks greasy too. I bet Anisa smells like dirty fucking pussy, to be quite honest.
Having been in close proximity with him. No.
So,
Ian.
I don't want to.
He doesn't want to
just
be
talk shit
mean.
about him, but,
You
like,
can tell
there
by
would
his
be times,
face.
For example, before the first event, where he was talking about getting tonsil stones,
Yeah.
and he was saying he was going to get strep throat.
I don't
he
even
had
know how the
tonsil
fuck
stones.
you get
And I
tonsil
said,
stones.
Ian, tonsil stones don't cause strep throat. Tonsil stones are because you're not brushing your fucking teeth. And so he was like, oh,
Ew.
okay, hygiene. And I'm like, yeah, fool. Like, you need to brush your teeth and use like.
Wait, hold on.
Boxing
That's gonna be
coach
something
and
you
life
need to hear
coach.
From your boxing coach, brush your teeth. That's something.
Yeah, I've been in a relationship with a BPD woman. That was not a fun time. And I love that person too. And it's like going back, obviously, you embarrass yourself defending your partner. You really do. I mean, sticking up for them when, like, you know shit. Like, when people are critical of them, like, to your friends and family, like, when you're telling them not to talk bad about them, or, like, trying to justify, like, the bullshit they're saying, or, like, what they have planned. Like, looking back, you just make yourself look like such an idiot and a fool. But for me, though, those experiences in life, I needed them. It was learning experiences, and I grew from them. I don't know how Ian's gonna grow from them, being in, like, his early 30s at this point, when that was his only experience in life, dating. Like, I think he's pretty much fucked after this, because she's gonna divorce him one day, and it's not gonna be good when that happens for him.
That's knowledge he should have come to you with.
Yeah. He was worried about getting sick. Like, so, yeah. So.
Was it Create Flash 1 or 2 where Anisa sent us? It was the day of training for one of the 1 or 2. I can't remember which one. And she sent us a video, a photo of his tongue.
Yeah,
And
20
she-
times worse.
Oh,
I would go as far as
like,
saying
bad
50
breath
times
and
worth, to be
tonsil.
quite honest. I mean, I'm glad. Actually, like, even the stuff with my relationships, like, it wouldn't be that bad. It would just be kind of funny. Because I'm the type of person, I don't take myself too seriously. Like, I'll laugh about it after. But he's, people like them, they take themselves way too seriously, and then I think that's part of the thing that makes it so funny to make fun of them. Because you know it upsets them.
Hold on. Go back. Why did she say
His
so
life
much
is
to us?
over after this, dude.
It's
like, it's legitimately like the black pill.
Yeah,
It's
because
over.
I'm like, because they were trying to say he's going to get sick before the event. And it can happen if you train too hard before an event. You run your immune system down.
I wonder if
you get
Ian got
sick.
tonsil
But
stones
we
for
weren't
sucking
training
on the
too
bull's
hard, so
cock.
he didn't get sick.
Yeah.
So for example,
So
He's got
they
way
wanted
too
him to
many
gain
issues.
weight, and I kept telling him, like, there's ways we can gain weight right before.
This is
weigh-in.
about,
I
like,
want you
where I
to
was
help
today
with
on my
this,
lunch
'cause
break
they wanted
watching
him
this.
To be 188 for the Dr. Mike fight. So the Sunday before the fight, Anisa makes him eat all this shitty food. So
Oh,
Monday, the Monday before the fight, he couldn't even do 2 rounds of pads in the ring without almost.
She's
throwing
so
up.
fucking
I'm
retarded.
I'm like, what the heck?
That was her logic for making him gain weight. Not like, because, number one, the weight wasn't going to help him in the fight. Number two, you don't really necessarily need to gain weight. It just looks better on the scale, which is what they're trying to do. It was a performance. It was a show for them. But there's so many better ways they could have, like, made him gain weight. If they really wanted to, they could have pulled the Diary of the Wimpy Kid thing, where they put, like, ankle weights around him, because he was wearing, like, sweatpants and shit. No one would have seen it.
Oh, like,
Yeah,
why are you
Ian, he always seemed like a little weasel. One thing that I heard recently that upset me, because I kind of like Max Mofo, is he didn't show up at Max Mofo's wedding because Anisa got a tattoo. She had a tattoo appointment, and he missed out on someone who's supposedly one of his closest friends ever's wedding.
doing this?
That's so
I was
shitty.
telling you, if you're
He's not a good
188 or
guy.
180, but you drink like a couple Gatorades. A Gatorade is 32 ounces, which is 2 pounds.
Yeah,
I'm like, just drink 2 or 3 Gatorades right before weigh-ins, and you'll gain like 4 or 5 pounds, and then you'll be 185.
and then ankle
But
weights.
instead, she was like, no, he needs to eat all this shitty food. So they were feeding him all a bunch of shit, right? And that's why when he weighed in with Dr. Mike, he was,
Anisa's a
grabbing his
feeder?
belly.
Question mark?
And I'm like, bro, that's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, you're making us
I'm your
look
fucking
bad.
coach, and you're in there with a belly up there. Like, it's one thing to have gained the weight and be like, oh, I gained weight, but it's another thing to be like the day before the fight grabbing your belly, and it's because you fucking ate a bunch of bad food.
Yeah, they would
like,
get Denny's all the time, and then he would
Denny's?
be like,
Yeah, this is important. I'm accused all the time of people say that they see me in Denny's farting. They say that about me, and I want them to. I never go to Denny's. I never go out to Denny's.
Yeah, it's not kosher.
Ian's the one who's actually shitting his pants at Denny's.
yeah.
Oy vey.
The meeting
You
that
tell
we
him,
had
Ethan.
After Alex Ernst's fight,
Yes.
I mean, sparring session was at Denny's.
I genuinely do think she intentionally sabotages him. There was a clip I saw on Twitter today where they were talking about her sparring, or Ian sparring this guy that she had a crush on, and she'd like get all giddy as Ian's getting beaten up. That's horrible.
The meeting that we
She
had
definitely has a
after
humiliation thing for him. It's definitely a domination thing.
was at Denny's.
Kosher Grand Slam, oy vey.
Just like disgusting.
But she loved it because she used to work there back in the day. And I was in my mind, I'm like, Ian, you're a fucking millionaire. Why are you eating at Denny's all the time? Like,
That was her job before OnlyFans.
Also,
He's allegedly. I've heard Hila noticed this, and I guess Anisa also confirmed that he's very cheap. Apparently,
He should.
I mean, I didn't expect.
All right, pot calling the kettle black there, but honestly, if he's very cheap, he should be. Like, that's smart. That's like, I'm gonna stick up for Ian, where like, you know, being cheap is nothing to like be ashamed of. That is a smart thing to do. But clearly she's not, because look at the way Creator Clash 2's money was mismanaged. So that just tells me they still have some money left over, because that's the only reason she'd still be with him, if he still had money.
But Anisa would always want to be trained at the same time, so Michael is training both of them for $100 an hour. And I would always tell Michael, like, you're training both of them. You should charge each one of them $100 an hour. And Michael would be like, oh, well, it's for a charity event, and I feel bad asking, so let's just do this for now, because we're going to get a bonus one
It's
day.
crazy the bait and switch she pulled. She looked halfway decent before the tattoo. She really did. I remember, too, I don't know if you saw the original, like, Discord messages that were leaked of Anisa years ago. This was like 2017, talking about Ian and their relationship. But this was before, like, it was well known how much of a succubus snake bitch she was. And like Brittany Venti made a video shitting on her for this. And it was so funny. Brittany Venti, of all people, called Anisa out for like whoring and taking advantage of Idubbbz like years before everyone else did. Then exposed the screenshots of Anisa talking about how Ian's a loser and he doesn't know how to please a woman. It was something like his room was filthy and she'd shit talk him. I don't remember it. It's not fresh in my brain, but I remember listening to that shit way back in the day.
Yeah.
And in boxing, if you do bring two people within that one same hour, you do pay more.
Yeah.
That's not just boxing.
Yeah, thank you. And that's how it should always be. But for them,
like, look at this.
Like, I would, once again, I always wanted the best for Ian. I always wanted the best. I was like, oh, this is why I like.
She legitimately was cute.
For himself, so it was really hard for me to want the best for him when he didn't want.
They actually did not look disgusting there. They looked like a cute couple.
On a train.
Now, do you have any commentary about his potential body odor?
I mean, I say it's true. I smell it all the time. It's horrible. A good example is this, because Michael's so nice, so he doesn't want to say it. But here's the thing: when we're in fight camp, he does 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. Okay.
For the first fight, he did. Well, for the first part of the first fight, not for the actual camp.
Correct.
During the camp was when he
leave it to a woman to talk about how bad someone smells.
Yes, so he would smell so bad that when he comes back in.
Well, of course she was. And then see, the thing was, Ian was never a dominant enough man to handle a woman like that. A woman like that, you need to handle with like a strong hand, and you need to tell her, shut the fuck up, bitch, and handle her with like a firm grasp. And that's something Ian will never be able to do. I don't mean hit her, but if you need to do that to keep her in line, you do that. No, I'm kidding on that part. But like, you need, as a man, you need to be assertive. You need to be able to say no to someone. And he just was never able to do that to her.
the coaches that are training other, members there would just like look at us with the weirdest face, like a stink face. And then Michael would try to take Ian to the corner where there's not.
By the way, I feel like I'm talking a lot more clearly than I was earlier in the stream. I was like committing tons and tons of word salad, and I felt so bad. But part of it was I was a lot more tired earlier in the stream, but I've woken up a little bit. But also, I did get hit in the head quite a bit today sparring, so.
Members of the gym, so they don't have to smell it.
I try to take it to the open doorway.
Yeah, so that does happen. I'm not lying. It's true. He doesn't shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand why she wouldn't tell him. I'm like, what is going on here?
She tells the audience.
That's her Muslim genes kicking in. She's waiting for him to cover her up and throw acid on her and shit.
But she won't talk.
Literally, like, so here's the thing. Anisa's not actually Muslim. Yeah, but I think I genuinely was punch drunk today. I was thinking about that. I didn't even get hit. Actually, funny enough, I don't even think it was the sparring that did it. I was holding pads for this guy who's like a professional fighter, and he kicks the pads so hard. And he's a big dude. And like, I'm horrible at holding pads, and one of the times I hit myself in the jaw with my hand from like the recoil.
To him about it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, and
like I didn't
Hold
feel
on,
like
guys.
it was my
I gotta
face.
sit on that for a sec. He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people.
yes.
This is
Okay.
crazy that it's coming
Hold on,
out
let me
now
just
that
say-
Idubbbz smells this bad.
By Potter, as if like he fucking his breath didn't stink all the time.
I wonder if Ian Smell ever gassed Ethan in person. Why is Ethan sitting in a subway?
Yeah.
Another question.
He's like Jared.
I heard that Anisa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
Yeah, she had said like I forget what she said.
I believe that.
But she had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason. But then like,
Because it
you've
wasn't
been getting
popular to
better or
associate with
something,
them at
so
the
they were
time.
happy to go on your show. It was
Yeah.
it was vague, but
She's
because
good.
she would talk,
Uh-huh.
she would kind of talk poorly about a lot of different.
It's
people,
kind of
so
crazy
it's
too,
easy to-
because I have a feeling like H3 is gonna have a resurgence in his career after this shit. I mean, he already seems like he's trending in the right direction, and he's taking on the right people though too. Like he knows what he's doing. He's taking on like Hassan, Idubbbz. It's like people he can win against. Well, he was like the boss back then, and now they're not involved anymore. People are free to talk shit finally. Yeah, exactly. Now you're right. I mean that was a stupid like
something
thing
about
for me
you
to
and
say,
Yola,
but I
like,
felt like in
or
general,
maybe
like
it
I
was just
figured like a
you,
YouTuber
but
would
somebody
like
had
pull
done
that
something
out.
That had offended her at one point.
I'm
so she
sure.
thought, yeah, so she felt like you guys weren't like.
Like I don't mean like just them. I mean
And
like
once
someone,
you
like
could do the
anyone
show-
who's met
But she
them.
loved AB and Lena. She always
Yeah,
loved
yeah.
them. Yeah.
She would. So here's
There
the
you
thing.
go. Who doesn't love AB and Lena? To be
Yeah.
fair.
Question.
To be fair, right? Who doesn't love AB and Lena?
Yeah, she wanted to get her Lebanese credit, so that's why she like loved so much.
She's trying to get her Lebanese.
Yeah,
credit
she.
up.
By the way,
Yeah.
Anisa, do you guys know what percentage Muslim Anisa is? Not Muslim, Middle Eastern. Anisa always talks about how she's Middle Eastern and how she's Lebanese and how she grew up in a Muslim household. She is 8% Lebanese. The rest of her is white. You cannot make this shit up.
She would always, because she would be like, "They're
That's like
Muslim."
me
And I
claiming I'm
was-
African
And
American.
I was like,
Yeah.
everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is.
Yeah.
I have Muslim fighters.
Yes.
He's
They
right.
5 times a day. They,
That's like
No,
literally what I'm getting at
like,
too.
That's your wife?
They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but if you,
You can't. Habib doesn't. Islam doesn't. If she was actually Muslim, she would not be parading herself around naked on the internet, and she would not be covered in tattoos.
put their hand on. They're very respectful, right? But it's just a totally different mindset. So then when I hear, and I have other Muslim fighters that maybe don't pray 5 times a day, but they still like they'll try to eat halal when they can. They have like a lot more. They have a different moral compass. So for example, she would always talk about how America is this horrible place. And Americans are like so bad, especially like white Christian male Americans.
Get out of here, dude.
Oh, And
Why?
yes,
What is her problem?
You know it's bad
but
when
somehow
Ethan
but somehow
Klein
I'm
is
like,
your
have you ever
patriot.
been to a Muslim country, Anisa? Like, and then obviously she hasn't. So to me, it was just like there was this.
I want to see what would
between
happen to
us. So,
Anisa if she went to somewhere like Afghanistan. I want Anisa to go to Afghanistan dressed the normal way she dresses. Or maybe Iran, Iraq, and see how the locals react.
Before the first or second creator clash, she said, we have 300 creators in the event. And I said, oh, who are they? And she said, it's mostly communists and sex workers.
Yeah.
And so I was just super confused.
Nice.
Yes.
Those are the people you
I
want
had to say-
associated
okay, so
with your
hold on.
charity
They've
event.
said before-
First off, you know how much communists love money, how much they make money too. So of course they have all the money in the world to donate to charity. And then you got sex workers. So when you have a charity event, it's supposed to be somewhat family friendly at least. And then you have people who make porn for a living associated with it.
Or that it was Twitch streamer. Oh, this is so telling. Publicly, she said it's Twitch streamers and
The funniest shit about Creator Clash 1
right?
is when
Is that what she
Anisa
said?
kept making a big thing
Boxing.
about her dad having Alzheimer's. And that's why, like, the money was going to an Alzheimer's charity. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Sex work.
boxing and sex work. But behind
That's what Ian said about
behind
the
the
vibe of
scenes,
Creator
they're
Clash.
saying communist.
I bet Anisa's dad fakes having Alzheimer's so he can forget about her.
And sex workers. Which, by
That
the
was
way,
huge.
I've been holding on to this image since you mentioned the Getty that they flew the Getty images in. The only one I've seen is this guy. This is Froggy Tonic, and he showed up here. I
Oh,
think he
jump
I think he
scare.
mistook the event for
Froggy never did anything wrong.
for some kind of communist gathering. I mean,
Oh,
what a
wow.
fucking weirdo.
No, they
This
did
is the
not.
guy that-
Did
Look,
you
The
guys
first
see
one
him
they
there
definitely
at the
did.
gala?
that guy is
The second
mad.
one they did not.
Did you guys see him there at the gala?
I didn't see him.
I
no.
saw him.
Isn't it so insane to wear that outfit and not be seen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Wow,
like
that is
you, you did all that.
Dude,
and
I gotta
no one-
fart so
I
bad.
too did not remember seeing that person. A friend.
Did
of
you guys
mine
hear
who
it?
was
I
there in the
farted.
corner did not remember seeing that.
Asserting my
person.
dominance.
I know if someone wore that around me, I would remember that.
Yes.
So that's
I
crazy.
remember that.
You
My
remember
cousin
seeing
said,
him?
"Why does homeboy look like Fidel Castro?" It was,
Yes.
it was my cousin. He's a jackass. He doesn't even probably know who Castro is, but it did make me laugh.
What a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
That
guy's
was the thing,
this
like-
guy's a horrible person. That the Froggy Tonic thing is especially interesting to me because
Dude, low key.
I told you Harley was
especially
there.
like really
He
vile.
ruined Creator Clash. It was him. He ruined Creator Clash. Couldn't shut the fuck up. He couldn't just shut the fuck up. He had to go and be talking all this
Him and
nonsense for
Frogan.
no reason.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Just
Hell
fucking
yeah.
swear, and look what happened. You fucked
Protein
it up.
farts.
You're
You
right.
fucked it up. Yep. Because
Yeah,
if you
you're
didn't
right.
say shit, then you wouldn't have the thing and the
This
thing,
guy was
whatever.
on. I don't know if you guys know the.
All
lore.
right.
He was on Twitter saying shit
That
like
sucked.
about how I feed my kids dog shit, and then
Yeah.
CPS came and then he kept going on about how. it
By
was
the way, I ate
justified and
like
all this stuff.
300
And
grams of
I don't
protein
know if you
today.
guys know the story, but I was like, dude, why are you friends with this guy? And then that's basically what started the whole thing.
Right. We saw that like all they had to do was help you guys with the CPS call, and they wouldn't. And then
That's so selfish of them.
Turned completely.
They really
negative
don't give
on
a
you and
fuck
started
about other
attacking you
people.
Then
guys,
they
and that-
justified it. Yeah,
Yeah, and so that was how that was part of why I wanted to do this, was because I was like, you guys actually supported us more than they ever supported us. So I was like, this makes no sense. It didn't make sense why he would attack the biggest of. So I was a part of everything for the first event and a lot of stuff for the second event. And I can tell you, the most fans at those events was your fans.
Yes.
Was your people.
Man, that
That's
place
just
must have
good
smelled
business, right?
fucking
He's like,
crazy.
Let's start a blood feud with the one person who's promoting this event. Like
And he
all
cared
the
about
people there, more than anyone who's there, the announcers, the hosts, the fighters.
I know a blood feud, Ethan. There's one in the Middle East right now. What a perfect frame to stop on.
I promoted that event more than anybody.
Yes, more than
I
he
will
did.
say the way people treated me before and after my fight was crazy. Like the other coaches and stuff who didn't know who I was, once they heard the applause that I got because there were so many H3 fans in the audience, they were like,
all super nice. Not that they were mean before, but I
They
don't
were
think I'll ever
interested, yeah.
feel that famous again in my life.
Yeah, we're a
Ruh-roh.
big deal. I don't know if
I
you
got
know this,
swapped.
but we're number 6 on YouTube. Or hopefully, I don't know if that's still true because I keep missing.
I got to be a part of AB's walkout for that first event. It was one of the most ruckus crowds I've ever heard. The craziest thing was like I was at the Seahawks stadium when they broke the record for the loudest stadium ever, and when AB got back up and dropped Hundar, that was the loudest I've ever heard a crowd in my entire life.
Nice.
It was the craziest thing I ever heard. And when he got dropped, I was like, oh no, like here it's gonna come, like Hundar might finish him. And then instead he dropped him back, and I was just like, this is the craziest event I've ever been a part of in my entire life. Like I was having the time of my life. I was like, this is insane, you know. But it was a lot of it was because like AB fighting on that card and your crowd.
Yeah.
Harley's
Yeah,
walkout
it's
was
kinda-
really
it's just kind
cool.
of sobering to learn that she was, you know, talking shit before even that event, and then they come on and act like we have been friends. And it's funny because I did say a comment about how it's funny how they show up when they need something from me, which is for me to promote their fight.
He said
And
that on the
he got all
podcast.
incredulous about that. He's like, "Oh, really? I don't need anything from you, Ethan." And I'm like, "Well, how's the Creator Clash 3 going?"
Right. Well, and that's what probably like I don't like an ego thing, or it makes no sense to me because once again I was a part.
He should have been on his knees
He would
sucking his
never put out
cock.
training footage. He would barely ever promote it, and so you would actually be like, "Hey guys."
Anisa would have the video camera.
On it. He's training. Lena's training for this.
Yeah, we
She'd
talk
release
about
the
it all
footage later to
You guys would
embarrass
talk
him.
about it way more than he would.
Also,
He would never put anything
Also, I
about
want to say that like after Michael and I came to LA to go on your podcast, right, with Ian and Anisa, I clearly remember that when we came back from that event, I put up the reel of Matt and Ryan, right, working with Michael, and then Ian texted me right away, and he was like, "Hey Kate, just so you know, you shouldn't put out content without confirming with me first, because a lot of YouTubers are actually very sensitive to their image, like
Wow,
me.
I just
And
stubbed
so
my toe,
therefore,
son of a
before you
bitch."
share anything, you need to let me and Anissa's know." And I just thought, okay, so I'm just gonna get a ton of work and not never share.
Like,
it.
who the
How-
fuck did he think he was?
That's the thing.
That's
I'm
what we
sure.
thought.
By the way, I am sure that you said you were training. It was footage of you training with Dad.
No, it was
Matt.
Matt and
From Super Mega.
yeah, Super
Yeah,
Mega.
I
Matt
am
and Ryan.
sure that none of those people. He didn't mind doing that.
Oh no.
No, he
Dude.
didn't. He actually accepted the collaboration, and it had 2
Oh,
minutes.
he
of being
accepted the collaboration.
Yes.
So it sounds like a
Yeah.
win-win, wholesome post.
Yeah,
It should have been.
It
But
should have been.
that was when I realized I was like, he
Oh.
doesn't want me to get
anything.
any like clout from this event whatsoever. even
That's
though
so
I'm the one
bizarre,
training
though.
for him.
Like, why would you not want them? I don't know. What a bunch of fucking weirdos. I guess they always need the upper hand in a dynamic, I guess.
But why is that? Why would he call you and seemingly be like, you shouldn't?
Yeah,
post
no,
unless
I
you're
mean-
posting
I'm normally the puppet master in this situation, and it's just Anisa. Anisa's controlling the puppet.
stuff without my permission.
It's just
That
a
had nothing to
control.
do with
Like,
him, by
so-
the way.
Anisa would always say, because I would want to kind of post some stuff too, and Anisa would be like, "Yeah, Ian's really private. He doesn't want people to see
Yeah,
his life
he's
or this
so
stuff."
private.
We were
He's
like,
especially
so I
private about his
respected that. I was
wife.
like, okay, he's a private guy, so he's not gonna.
You
And
know
she
what's
would
funny?
get so
He's
upset.
going to become even more private based on the views on his last video.
Oh!
He gets so
I'm saying
private.
he's
Nobody
gonna
can know about him.
he's gonna be living a real private life soon.
I got a
It's
question.
true.
I got a question. Just following up. So Froggy Tonic was flown in.
Yeah,
This is so
he-
good.
to
What an
film
iconic
Anisa
line.
and just give her the credit of putting on the event and all that. And they still did nothing with that footage or the footage you guys had as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
And
I
that's-
think, what's that?
No, go ahead, go.
I think that because, like, I think for the first fight, it could have made a great documentary. But I think for the second one, they were scared to put out that Anisa did all this work because it failed so badly. She wasn't even a part of when he did his charity, when he did his charity stream, or not, I won't even call it charity.
I think I've had enough of this for the night, to be quite honest, because there's so much with it. I mean, there's only so much more I can extract from this. I've been